Sam Kinison and Mark Maron were living like in the mid '80s.
Oh my God. I forget how old Mark Maron is.
Yeah, he's a good 56, 57, something like that.
This looks okay, right?
Yeah, looks good.
Oh my God.
I think we got it.
We're doing it. We're doing it. All right. I'm here with Mark Ellis, comedy, legend of comedy, movie reviewing, TV, stage.
Stage, screen.
Stage and screen. Both of us are communication majors.
We are both comm majors,
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the comm degree. I was thinking like pre-med for like the first semester-ish.
Really?
At Wake Forest, and then I got my first exam in my first biology class because I was like okay at bio in high school and AP bio, and I'm like
AP bio,
I can ace this.
That's fancy.
I don't remember what I got on my first test in bio in college, but my second test came back and it said 53. Nice improvement.
53 is not a good score.
53 is not a good score. It was on a scale of 100, so
wow.
it was pretty rough. Yeah.
So you must have improved from like, what did you get, like a 20? I mean, that's, yeah.
It was probably in the 30s, yeah. I'm going to give myself that credit.
So then you were like, I have to pivot away from med school.
Yeah, just it's not going to be for me. And then like communications just seemed like a nice, broad kind of, I still don't know what it is. I don't know if you have any insight.
I had very little guidance from my parents or anybody at my school. Like, my parents had very low ambitions for me. Like, I remember my mom being like, study hard. One day, you could work at a hotel.
Yeah.
Like, that was her dream for me.
Yeah.
She was like, you could be like me. I mean, I used to live in Hawaii for a couple years. I worked at this hotel. And, like, you have a good personality. You could work at a hotel. Like, that for her was, like, making it.
I'm, like, on a par with your mom then. Because even, like now, I get spoiled by dumb, stupid, little, silly things. Like, even just walking into this hotel room, I feel like, oh my God, this is such a nice room.
Oh wow!
Like, oh, what a nice
Thank
view.
you.
Just all the little things. I love hotels. I'm like a huge fan of hotels.
I do too. That's why I don't mind. Like, I mean, I could have stayed at the Best Western, but I'm like, oh, this is a comedy trip. I have to, I'm investing in myself. I have an opener. I need to get her the best. I'm like, what?
I will treat my openers, not to toot my own horn, it's just kind of the backwards way I think. I treat them better than I treat myself because I want them to have like a nice experience. So they can have like the nice penthouse suite and I'll take the Motel 6 room. But I will say this, if anybody's listening, thinking about going out to Los Angeles to visit Sunset Boulevard, you want to stay in Hollywood, that Best Western is the nicest Best Western. I've stayed at the other ones.
It's right across the street, and
it's
I thought
right there.
about it. I was like, this is probably a lot less than this place I'm in.
So that Best Western, famous in Ellis family history, because I moved out to California in like 2003 to stay. But before that, I took a road trip with my buddy who was also moving out here in the summer of 2002. So we both just graduated college, and he wanted to move out here to be a director.
From Chicago?
From further east, from Virginia/North Carolina. My dad was in the Air Force, so he moved around a lot.
Okay,
so I
cool.
lived on both coasts, but then we settled in Virginia, went to school in North Carolina. And so my buddy and I, we drive out there. It's like a 4-day, trip, and we have a great time. He's meeting his girlfriend at the Best Western.
Wow, right here.
At the Best Western, yes.
Yeah.
So she had already like looked at places, like apartments for them to live, and they were just waiting for the apartment to like be, ready or whatever. So they were staying at the Best Western for a couple days. We get there, and this was a famously like combative relationship. Like they yelled at each other all. It didn't work out. And as soon as we get in the room, they start fighting about something. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to just go walk on Sunset Boulevard.
How awkward for you, yeah.
It's awful. But then you walk outside and you walk onto Sunset Boulevard and you're right there in front of the Best Western. I look to my right and then I look to my left and boom, there's the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's just
like right next door. I can't get over it.
I can just walk up and touch it.
Yeah.
And it happened to be, it was either a Sunday or Monday. Because back in those days, they did potluck 3 nights out of the week. They did Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday in the original room.
Oh,
so I just walk up and I just start talking to somebody about who's just hanging out there. Like, hey, what is this? And she told me, it was like open mic is first and then friends and family. And she kind of gave me the run of what it was. And I just remember like storing that piece of information as the like, this is probably where I'm going to be spending a lot of my nights when I finally make the move out here.
How far into comedy were you at that point?
Had never done a set yet.
Had never, but you knew. You were like,
No.
This is where I'm touching the Comedy Store. I'm into this.
And then, so a couple nights later, the Laugh Factory had their open mic night.
Wow.
And so I waited all day from like, I don't know, I think you'd get there around like noon. And it's the first 15 comics that got there. Like,
do they do it like that anymore?
I have no idea. Because I'm not in Hollywood that much, like, unless I'm coming to do a set. So I don't, like, live in Hollywood anymore. And so I don't see what it's like during the day. Which is a good thing, by the way.
I mean, it's just a lot of,
it's like, a scary place.
We have similar homeless. I mean, they have better tans here, for sure. Like, they're a little bit more,
good tans.
Chiseled.
And our homeless, really good hair. Really good hair.
Yeah. I'm like, what, the Suave commercial, like, didn't work out? Or, yeah.
Yeah, they good DHT in our homeless out here.
Yeah, they're homeless with headshots,
And it's funny because you can never really tell, is this like a crazy person, is this a homeless person, or is this an open micer who just hasn't showered because they've been waiting in line all day?
Yeah, is this just like an urban camping situation? Someone's just like trying to, or is it somebody super famous who's like, what is it called when you're like get into a character, like
your method?
Yeah, you're being method or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. It could be an actor like training for a role to play a homeless person that they're going to end up winning an Oscar for.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, I just gave him a quarter.
Yeah. Cool. There's so many things I want to talk to you about. Yeah. They're all written on this professional card here. So you used to be on the Collider Network, and there was a 3-year period where John Schnepp died, John Campea departed, and then you left last February. How did that feel? I mean, this was all in the span of about like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
All of this change happening. Did any of that like spark your wanting to leave, or?
I mean, my career trajectory, as tough as it is to deal with loss with people like John Schnepp, who you're really close to, or somebody like Brody Stevens, who I was really good friends with, it's like you go back, and comics and people in our business, we don't have long life expectancies, So
what do you think is the average? Like, I would say for
45,
men, it's
50.
like for women, I mean, like we're out here moisturizing, we're doing
right.
We're doing vitamins, we're doing Kegels. I mean, I'm doing them right now. You just have to be vigilant.
It's a good secret flex you got going. Yeah, I didn't even notice. Didn't even notice the ab flex.
Stay on the chair. Yeah, I'm just grabbing it.
It's a good aerobic workout, interviewing. But I mean, I always knew that I wanted to eventually, as soon as I could, tape my first special. That's what I wanted to do. And so it kind of worked out that I was leaving Movie Talk and announced that I was taping my special a couple months later, because then that just gave me, instead of this 3-hour hole in my afternoon every day of the week that I was hosting Movie Talk, which I had a good time doing, now that was time to either take a nap or write jokes and like make sure that I'm getting on stage every night, just to be as prepared as possible for the actual taping, which was in April.
And it came out in November.
Just
a few months ago, and you released it on YouTube.
It came out on YouTube, and I think now you can get it on like Amazon and whatever else. So
what was that like process like? Did you think, I would love to have it on YouTube, or like were you kind of just pitching it around?
Well, when you sit down and you think about it, like, okay, what do I want this thing to do for me? Like, do I want the nice name brand value of something that's like a Netflix or Hulu or even Amazon, something like that? Or do I want it to be seen by the widest audience possible? And I think it was a smart play for me, and I had great conversations with a lot of different companies about it, about the yin and yang of it. When I sat down with All Things Comedy, I was like, not only do I want people to see it, but like my audience that knows me from things like Movie Talk or Schmoes Know or the Schmodown, they know YouTube. They're savvy on YouTube. That's how they got to know me.
That's how they found you.
Kind of makes sense just to like release it in my. It was like releasing it in my home court.
In your area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, everybody's path is different, so you're not going to make a lot of money on your special if you release it on YouTube. But what I found is, as far as being like comics that I've talked to who have done like Netflix specials, is that you might get a nice deal if you release it on Netflix initially, but it's still not, that's not what's like breaking the bank for you. What you're really looking forward to is people hearing it on SiriusXM and things like that. The audio plays, for some weird reason, tend to get more revenue than the video plays.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because more people maybe spending more time in their cars, and it's weird. I found like a lot of my fans, I started getting a lot more fans when I started doing a show on Compound Media over the summer.
Yeah.
And which was wild, because I would do, produce shows in New York City. I did a show at a national landmark, the Stonewall Inn, for like 6 years, and like that got me 2 fans. And then I get on Compound Media, and after a few months, I am like, wow, look at all these followers. And not just in the like, wow, look at my numbers, but in the sense that they came out to shows and they love stand-up comedy, which is like the best thing to see. And sometimes like people give me shit like, oh, your fans are like, you know, they're like dudes and they're gross and they're like, well, I'm sorry I can't pick my fans. Like I don't have the luxury of like, and first of all, it's like, it's our job as clowns to put ourselves out there, like and whoever likes you, great. Like I don't feel like you should be picky about who likes you.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do what is natural and what is honest to you. So that's who the fan base is. I mean, if anything, you hope that your fan base kind of grows with you. Because like for me, it's been a lot of young people, and now they find themselves like I was meeting so many people in Vegas last week that were like, oh, I was watching you when I was in 8th grade.
Wow.
And I'm like, why? That makes me feel old, but it's also like, hey, you stuck with it. Like you grew up.
You had good taste as an 8th grader.
With this crap. Well, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
It's not exactly. When I was in 8th grade, I was watching like Friends and Seinfeld, and
God, what the hell was I doing?
Now 8th graders wasting their time on YouTube.
Now I was just
dang kids
giving bad hand jobs. Like really, that was what I was into.
In 8th grade, really?
Yeah. No, maybe more 9th grade, more high school.
You held out.
Yeah, I was really saving myself.
I was a very late bloomer with all that stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, if I got like a kiss on the mouth, I'd be like, holy, I think I just got to home plate. Like I was just very, very late when it came to the...
When did you lose your virginity?
Right before I was 20. So, and it was right at the end of that, whatever that year of college was.
At Wake Forest, right?
At Wake, yeah. Yeah.
I lost mine in college too. I was almost 19. And I was like really saving it because I don't know, something about like growing up, I was just like really afraid of sex and like, you know, like get fingered all day long, but like something about like that was just like a hard, firm line.
Is that going to make me pregnant? Is God going to get mad? God doesn't get mad at fingers.
I'm like, God doesn't care about the back there hole. Have at it. I went to a Jesuit college, so I was like...
Yeah, I went to Catholic school in high school, and so I think that's like, because they really try to avoid, like they don't even have like sex ed or like the talk or anything. There's like one day where the nuns tell you, hey, this is what's really bad, and it's just sex and drugs, and then you never hear about it again.
Like, but wait, I have a follow-up question. And they're like, and we're moving on.
It's nuns, they don't know.
Yeah. No, they have no fucking clue.
They don't know how it works.
Yeah.
We're all walking into it blind.
Yeah, it's like I'd rather have like a porn star like come in to like my middle school class and teach me and be like, look, I can show you 3 STDs because I have them all right now. This is what this looks like.
Porn star comes in, okay kids, today we're going to be watching an instructional video, which is my latest film.
I caught my dad watching that. So it's so interesting that you bring up, you know, you have this whole like large group of fans that like know you from your Schmoes knows, I'm saying that wrong, Schmoes know,
you got it. Yeah.
And you know your Collider fans, and then your stand-up comedy fans. Like, how would you, I guess, like explain, like, are there real differences between like your comedy fans versus your, I would say, like your personality fans, or like people that know and love you from like your TV stuff and your movie reviews? And
I think that when you like sit down and you dissect, like, okay, how does this person know me or that person? The biggest difference that I see are people who know me from my movie trivia show, the Schmodown, because those live events that we do are so, like, they're at theaters and people, and we, like, they're just screaming at the top of their lungs. And so when they go to a comedy club, they stand out sometimes because it may be their first time at a comedy club, and they know they're seeing me and maybe some other people that they've seen on the Schmodown opening for me. And so I think that in their head, they're like, oh, well, I need to be loud and boisterous like I do at the Schmodown.
You're like, no, that will get you kicked out.
It's like, yeah, just laugh. All you got to do is laugh and maybe applaud if you really like something. That's all you have to do. So it's... You know, but it's just nice having, you know, my foot in a bunch of different pots, I guess, is the worst metaphor you could have.
The foot's in the pot.
The whole foot pot thing.
I've been saying that for years. You got to keep your foot in different, like all your different feet in different pots.
That's the new one after coronavirus. It's foot in pot disease.
That's actually how it broke out. Yeah.
But it is cool because, like, if somebody meets me for the first time and they see me do stand-up, then they tend to go to the other things that I do online, or vice versa. If they see me online, then they want to come out and see me do stand-up. So it's nice to have your options open because all of this could end tomorrow. You know, it really could.
Just with a single cough to the face. You know, it's gonna all be.
One cough could take down all of YouTube. We just don't know.
Yeah, I'm over here pushing every button in the hotel. I'm just like, I don't know. I have a lot of hand sanitizer. I have wet ones. I'm like wiping things down. Like I'm not uncareful, but at the same time, like, unless you're old and have a bad immune system, like I don't know. I guess I'm one of these people that's like not trying to get paranoid.
You're not like showering with Lysol wipes.
Yeah, just like a chemical shower. Just like go to a lab and like. It's a one-night stand shower. Like, get it off me.
I remember seeing those in bio class and just like that. Maybe the biggest regret of my life is that I never just went over and just. I really wanted to do it.
Yeah, I always had a fascination with the eye wash station. I was like, well, what else could you put in there? Like, what else could get washed? I'm like, I wonder if like Mr. Plez is putting his balls on there when no one's around. I don't know. I'll never forget from like chemistry is my teacher, Mr. Plez.
Mr. Plez.
I think it was short for
Plez.
Plesnitzer was his man. I can't even remember him, but he was such a character. Like you remember those teachers from high school that were like fucking cool and like comfortable in their own skin. I remember he like dropped his sandwich on the floor, like picked it up and started eating it, and everyone's like, ew, and he was like, you know, if my body can't fight off a few floor germs, I'm in bad shape, you know, and he's just eating his fucking floor sandwich.
That's our Plez.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? And so ever since then, you know, I just sometimes drop my food on the floor and eat it just to make sure I'm still...
Just for Mr. Plez?
Yeah.
Were you one of those kids, especially when you have a cool teacher like your Mr. Plez's of the world, which I had a couple, I always liked making them laugh. Like that was
always.
Because if you're the class clown, you want to make the other students laugh, but if you could get the teacher to laugh too, that was like the best.
The ultimate thing. And like, although I didn't win class clown, which like clearly I'm not over.
They had a vote?
They did. They had us vote.
Did we have a vote?
I won most spirited because we'd have like this spirit week where we'd have to dress up into themes. And like one time, I think the seniors theme was like games or board games. So I came in a full on, like took a Monopoly game, like glued it to myself, made a skirt and like glued the money to it all around the bottom, like fringe. And like I showed up like ta-da, and then nobody else had a costume on. Everyone else was like wearing green, and I was like, what the fuck? So that's how I won like most spirited, but that also like...
I feel like those votes were rigged just because like the kids wouldn't vote you for multiple categories.
Yeah.
You only got one category. So I was funniest 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Still a record, I have no idea. But then one of the other categories was most likely to host their own talk show.
Wow.
And they voted my buddy, Jack, who we're still really good friends, but it's like, okay, so if I'm the funniest... But you're telling me I can't host my own talk show?
You're fucking at least a double threat. You know, if you're the funniest, it's likely that you will host your own show.
Thank you, Chrissy.
My God.
We're working through
this.
This
Doesn't seem fair. And what the hell has Jack done?
He's not hosting his own talk show. He's doing really well, though. He started a Bloody Mary mix company. And now they're like all around the Southeast. You can go to Trader Joe's and get Charleston Bloody Mary mix.
That's what it's called?
It's good stuff.
Oh, wow.
I don't drink Bloody Marys at all.
Let's not plug his fucking business. You know what I mean? He's...
Yeah, he's close enough to getting his own talk show.
He won talk show.
Come back over here to the funniest.
Yeah, that's where it's at. I definitely was one of the funniest. And I also thought I should have won best hair. But the day that everybody voted, like, I think my hair was up or it looked like shit. And I don't know. I sound really conceited, and this is not the...
you got most spirited.
Yeah.
You got your name in the paper. It's still good. Still counts.
The spirits. Yeah. That's really neat. Do you find that a lot of your... movie fans are coming to see you do stand-up?
Yeah, it's awesome because you see him in the crowd like wearing like the merch or like wearing like a Schmoes No or a Schmodown shirt, and so it's like when you're actually when I'm doing crowd work I try to avoid that because I just feel like it's like cheating somehow because like you're talking to your actual fans.
Not pandering, but like it's like an inside little secret group.
Yeah, like the sport of stand-up to me is always it's like you have to make strangers laugh. Like, and ideally they're people who have never heard of you. That's the challenge of it. But then
how would they've never heard of me? Like
they've all heard of Chrissy, so it's or Jack because he has his own talk show.
He has his own margarita mix or whatever.
I'm so pissed about that.
Fucking Jack.
Love you, Jack. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool having the platform to where now people like enough people are like, hey, we can go see Mark, and so occasionally if you like sell a show out, it's like, oh, this is what was all worth it.
Yeah.
Because everything I do, I want to funnel back into stand-up. Like it's still my favorite thing to do. It's the most focus that I've put in my career has been on stand-up. And so these other things that have gotten me a lot of notoriety or popularity, as long as they're funneling back into stand-up, that's always been the goal for me.
And you were doing that first before any of the other shows?
Oh, yeah. Started doing the open mics at the Comedy Store and the Factory and all that stuff. Like March 2003 is when I moved out here, and I pretty much hit the ground running right away.
Yeah, to start in a big city like LA, it's like, because I started doing stand-up like right in New York City, even though I'm from Long Island and they have clubs and mics out there. I just was like, I was in the city every day for whatever job I had.
Yeah.
I had like 15 jobs, and so I would just like hang around, and then I actually did improv for like years, which is a great way to spend $400 like every 6 weeks. But I was like living at home, spending all my money on fucking improv classes, and it's like, not that it's a waste of money, but like, I don't know, unless you're one of 5 improvisers, you're probably not going to make a living at it.
It helps, I think, initially. Stand-up, I'm a little, but like acting classes or improv classes, it all helps at the beginning, I think. But you reach a certain point where it's like, all right, you're just sucking money out of me now.
Yeah.
Like, I know the basics. And if you want to, do like groundlings or stuff like that, where you keep progressing in your classes, then it's kind of worthwhile. But at some point, you just got to realize, like, okay, I need to stop paying people because I'm good at this.
Progressing, and then you look around and you're like, you see these like career improvising students, and they're in their like 40s and 50s, and you're like, I really don't want that to be me. Not that there's anything wrong with that, like, improving yourself at whatever age, but like,
it's never too late to start. I mean, I did take a comedy class when I first moved out here. I took Judy Carter's comedy class.
Me too. I took her class when she was in New York. I took it at Gotham Comedy Club.
Yeah.
I think I took it with my mom. And
wow.
That was like one of the, or maybe it was at.
So your mom did a set too?
No, I think I just took it. Maybe she did. God,
because when you do the comedy classes, like you do, it's like 6 weeks, and you work on like a 5-minute set.
God, was it?
And then you do the set, like for like an audience.
I did it with Judy Carter. Maybe,
yeah.
Like it's all blending together because maybe she did do a set. Holy shit! I mean, I just was like, she didn't want me to go by myself. Yeah, she must have told some.
It's a good mom.
Jokes. Yeah.
It's a good mom.
Yeah.
See, I did like the thing about LA too that was appealing, was that it was so far away from all my family and stuff like that. I love my family, but I need to get away from that, from the girlfriend I just broke up with, from everybody that I have known more or less, so that I can just be free to try this thing without worrying about who's in the crowd.
Wow, that's great.
Just do it in front of people I've never met before, in front of strangers. I have no idea who they are. They have no idea who I am. And I can just try this thing and incubate. And like the comedy class thing, because our graduation show was at the Improv. That was my first time doing the Improv. And it was, you look back on it and you're like, that crowd was maybe half full and they're tired because they're just there to see their friend and then they're done. And none of us are so good that we're going to win over a bored crowd. And I bombed that one. But the 6 weeks leading up to it, I was getting on stage just about every night doing open mics, and like I think that made me much better than the actual comedy class or that graduation performance did.
Right, because you have a ton of anxiety, and you haven't worked the muscle of dealing with show anxiety, but you've worked the like getting on stage at mics, running stuff.
Yeah.
Has anyone in your family ever seen you perform?
Oh yeah. They come out to the shows when I'm back on the East Coast. I just did a club in DC. A couple months ago and had a bunch of family. I had my uncle came up he lives in Florida now, but they're all from the area. So my uncle brought like half of his like high school graduating class to come see me.
Wow.
Which was cool. And because they all knew my dad. My dad passed away 10 years ago, and so I look a lot like him, so I think that part of it was just this weird fascination that they're like, I want to see Mark.
They bring his old clothes. Can you just try this shirt on?
Can you just do some headshots as your dad?
Can you just do some pictures with us, like just trying to look older? And
they did have cool colors. I would be happy to wear a varsity jacket from Oxon Hill High.
Shout out.
Yeah.
We'll shout them out.
Yeah.
Not Jack though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever feel awkward, like if you're talking about, I don't know, anything like sexual or relationship wise, like in front of your family?
It's weird. I got over it. There was just like something that just like it clicks, and you're like, no, I'm just gonna go do whatever. So I never really had a fear of like, oh, my mom's in the crowd, so I can't tell this joke or that joke. Like you just get over it. And part of it is because you know it's gonna get a laugh, and like laughter makes everything easier to handle. So even if I'm telling embarrassing stories, I know there's a laugh coming, so we're all going to be able to get over this thing.
And it's almost like I felt that way when my parents would come to shows, and like I'd be like, "Hey, you had your chance to give me enough love, and now I'm here doing this because you guys fucking dropped the ball. All right, yeah, it's too late. It's too late for you now."
Yeah, in the back of their head.
I just have all these strangers. I don't need you.
Right, it's your fault. If you're the parent and you're going to see the stand-up, that's your kid. That it's some part of this is your responsibility.
What do you feel like your childhood damage was?
Well, we moved a lot because my dad was in the Air Force, so I think that actually was like a nice foreshadowing of what my life was going to be as an adult, just moving in, moving out, and staying at hotels. And like, again, if we got to stay at a Holiday Inn, it's like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
We get to watch Showtime tonight. Or
cable.
It's like like a Friday night out at Denny's is the best, you know? So I think I got used to that life pretty early.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad.
No. I had a great childhood, and once we got settled too, like my mom and dad were always great together. They worked in the office together, and they always got along, never really fought, and they were together until my dad passed away. And so I have an older sister and a younger brother, and the whole family's really, really tight. We're all spread out. My sister's in Virginia. I'm in LA. My brother's in Seattle. So
Same thing with my family. Like, we're all from New York. Obviously, like, my sister moved out to Vegas like almost 2 years ago. My dad is in Naples, Florida. Yeah, like my mom passed away like almost 2 years ago, and my brother's in North Carolina, like near Raleigh, I think.
Nice.
Raleigh Springs. Or something. Yeah. But so it's basically like the family members I end up seeing more are the ones with the cheaper flights, because it's like very inexpensive to fly to North Carolina, so it's like, all right.
Yeah, you can hop a Southwest flight, go see the sister, right?
Yeah, that's true. I guess, and I was just in Vegas for the AVNs in January. Hang on, but it's like a longer flight. Yeah, it's good, and I have like a niece and nephew, so I love them so much, and like Dylan is 3 now, and like my brother just put me on the phone with him yesterday, and he must have walked away, my brother, because I was on the phone with Dylan for like a really long time, and like. He's 3, so like nothing was making any sense, and I could tell that he was trying to. He doesn't know how the phone works. Like, he thinks everything is FaceTime, even just regular being on the phone. So I could tell he was trying to show me stuff, but I was like, I can't see what the fuck you're talking about, you know? But he's so cute.
It's like because I have the niece and 2 nephews of a similar age, and it's like when you're talking to them. It's almost like they have this magical ability to make you feel like the idiot. Even though you're talking to a 3-year-old, it's like, I'm losing something in this. Why am I not understanding what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I was like, I get it. You're very excited. You saw a fire truck. I've seen them too. I don't know what the big fucking deal is, you know?
I like being the uncle. Like, I like flying in to see them.
You seem like an uncle, just off the bat.
1000% uncle vibe. I think that's as far as I'm taking the kid thing.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I was at a barbecue yesterday with a bunch of friends who all have kids now, and there's just kids running around everywhere, and I'm just looking at it like, I'm not. Every time I hang out with kids, even if they're cool, like my family is, I'm like, I don't want one of these. I don't want to take one of these home.
It would be around all the time.
All the time. And you're a bad person if they're not. It's your fault if you forget them, you know?
And if it's weird. It sucks. It's like there's this. And if you want time for yourself, like, you're a bad parent. Also.
But see, your friends, like, they look at you and they know, because everybody starts out like, oh, I don't want to have kids. And then they meet the right person or something changes. And so friends that have been through that already, they see you and they're like, it's going to change. And they're like waiting for the change to happen. And I'm telling you right now, it's not going down.
I don't know if I'm in the kid closet or not. Yeah, I'm like on the fence. I got to figure it out soon, or else like, my shit's probably going to get scrambled. I don't know. I also don't want one with like a tail, or, that needs to be on a short bus. So,
It's one of the many advantages, unfortunately, that men have, is that we can have a kid whenever.
Yeah.
That's
what people are like, it'll change. When you're 80, you'll wake up and be like, I got to get somebody
Be the
pregnant.
super old dad.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra.
Changing each other's diapers.
Yeah. Wow, this is such a left turn. I was hoping to get into this organically, but it's kind of like movie themed.
Hit me.
So, do you think that we are in a new era of like horror and thriller films? Because like, just a few examples I feel like that have come out recently, which is like Dr. Sleep. Have you seen that? Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Peele's like last couple of movies, like Get Out and whatever the fuck the other one is. To me,
and Us.
And to me, those feel just like they're hitting people in a deeper, different way than like the horror thrillers of like even 10 years ago.
I think horror movies started to lose their way a little bit because they felt like they got so franchisey, where you're just relying on Freddy Krueger or Jason or Michael Myers or something like that. And when you put those characters in the background and you just focus on what makes a cool story, I think a lot of people found that even if they didn't grow up loving horror movies, that this is a really cool way to tell a story and to captivate an audience. And I think the same things happen with audiences, is that even if you say, oh, I'm not a horror movie fan, you cannot deny there's something really special about being in a movie theater opening weekend in a packed house and everybody getting scared together.
Especially like all the just in the last couple of years, all the Avengers movies and like all the Star Wars movies. It's like that's the only place I've been in a movie like opening weekend or opening night where you feel like there's just so much energy in the room.
Yeah.
And like, the fucking opening credits come on, people are like cheering, and I'm like, when does that ever happen?
It's cool.
Like concerts, that's it, maybe.
Yeah, it's like that rock concert feel. And I feel like audiences are the most well behaved at horror movies just because they know that it's everybody's got to be quiet because we're building up to something, and then something's going to scare us, and we're going to go. The coolest thing that I love in a movie when it's a horror movie is like everybody goes and they're scared of like somebody jumped out, and then we all laugh 5 seconds later because we're like, oh, did you see what we all did? We're such babies. It's just those are the cool community experiences that I think audiences are like, yo, I want that. And so if you want that, if you're not going to a huge giant Star Wars movie, it's comedies and it's horror movies. And when you get a good one that people want to see, that's a cool premise, or you like the director or whatever it is, I think that's the most bang for your buck.
Plus, like, I've read things that like horror movies, like it's good to take a girl to a horror or like a thriller movie because it like gets the blood flowing, and then it's like something about it where like being scared and being horny are like right next to each other. Like, have you read that too? It's like,
yeah. There is some sort of like weird science to like a horror movie being a good date movie because
you'll sort of grab onto somebody's arm, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, it's just the movie.
It can get physical. It can also, you can feel like, oh, we're protecting each other. Don't worry, if this ever happened, I got your back. Yeah. That kind of thing. It's like that story. Remember that story like everybody would tell when you were kids to like get scared, is the story of like the couple making out in the car, and then like you hear scratching and there's like a hook on the car or something. There's
what?
Something
I've never heard this story.
All right, so it's like this couple, they go to the makeout point, right? And she and they're listening to the radio, right? And it's like the AM radio, and there's like a news interruption. It's like there's this guy escaped from from jail, and he's got a hook. So if you see a guy with a hook, be careful. So this couple are making out, and she's like really scared. And he's like, no, don't worry, baby, it'll be fine. Make out a little more. And she's like, no, I think I heard something. The guy, it's just really scaring me. And he's like, oh, fine, we'll go. She's like, I really just want you to take me home. So he's like, oh, fine, this horny dude, like, damn it. I'm going to take her home. And he drives home, and he opens the car, takes her out, takes her to her house, and then walks back to his car. And then on his car, on the driver's side handle, there's a bloody hook hanging. So it's like they were making out, and this guy with the hook was about to, and I think that's some version.
I think he still should have hacked up the annoying, horny guy.
Yeah, I mean, the guy didn't really deserve to survive that story.
No, yeah, everything scary movies have taught me is like that should have been the first guy to be killed. Or no, maybe the girl, actually.
There's another version of that story. Okay. Sorry to go down
this
road.
I can edit this in post. If you want, I can put this story in front of this other one.
We can get Jack in here instead. I mean, he's a much better talk show host than I am. So it's like instead of them in a car, right, they're in a hotel room. And she's like, look, I'm really scared. Can you just go outside and make sure everything's okay? Because you heard there was this guy with the hook that was going around. And so the boyfriend goes out and he's like, okay, if you hear anything, don't open the door, whatever it is. This is apparently in the days before there were like the holes. You could look through.
A peephole, yeah.
Peephole. Yeah. So you have one. So you're good. I
have one.
So
I haven't peeped once since I've been here.
The guy goes out, well, so if you heard scratching, right?
I'd probably open the door.
You'd probably open the door.
Yeah.
So she hears scratching because she doesn't open the door because she thinks it's the guy with the hook. But it ended up being her boyfriend who got stabbed by the guy with the hook and crawled back and was like, he couldn't even talk. He was just, and she didn't open the door in time.
That's what you get for not being able to keep your dick in your pants.
Yeah, you horny teenagers. Don't have sex until you're in college.
You know, even then, you could probably, you're not going to have sex whenever you want, but like you're not going to have good sex till you're in your 30s.
I never did like the make out point thing though, because in the back of my head, I'm like, I could get caught. Somebody's going to be here. I just like to be in a nice, safe environment. I want to be in.
Was there a make out point where you grew up? Like
There was. And I made out a couple times in a car, but never to the point of like, oh, let's have sex here too. Did have sex on a beach one time and got caught by a cop. That was unfortunate.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did you get a ticket?
Didn't get a ticket, just like a, hey, get out of here, beach is closed kind of thing. So he was pretty cool about it.
He was pretty cool. He stayed, he hung out, he started touching himself.
Yeah, he actually just...
He's like, I'm not going to write you a ticket, but it'll cost you.
It'll cost you in your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry to get off on that, but I haven't got to talk horror movies in a little bit, so
cool.
I get excited with scary stories.
Yeah, so and I don't even know, I mean, like, obviously so much more than I do. I almost feel even dumb talking about this with you.
Not really.
Like, I think Don't Fuck with Cats is more... Is it a documentary? Maybe.
Yeah, it is this weird fascination that society has just discovered that we all have with true crime.
Yeah.
Which is kind of horrifying that you sit down and now we're so conditioned to true crime. It's like we don't even want to see a fictional story anymore. It needs to have actual human death, or else I can't be entertained on Netflix.
I think because there's so much fluff and fake shit out there, and everyone's faking orgasms, and
Not this guy. I'm not doing it. Every time I moan, it's genuine, ladies. I promise.
A man who faked orgasms, that's so funny. Like, just why? Just like, it's so easy.
I gotta try it. I gotta see if I'd be good at it. I bet I could pull it off.
Yeah, I was just...
It's just those improv and stand-up classes.
Oh, God. Who was it that I was just listening to, like, the other day out here? Was it... I actually saw Dan Cook do stand-up, and he was actually really good.
I think he's great.
Over all the years, like, I just heard people, like, talk a lot of shit about him.
Yeah.
And I actually saw him, and he blew me away with how good he was. And he was comparing, like, I think when guys come... God, it's either him... I think it was him. He was, like, comparing like, when guys come, like, just, like, they put something hot in their mouth, but they still eat it. Like, he had such interesting comparisons. Yeah. And I should have remembered it.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of his, and I think that his career trajectory has just been that of anybody that gets that famous that quickly to where everybody loves you.
Yeah.
And then you get to that point because they built you up, and then when they get up there, they're like, nah, we're going to tear you down. And then, it ebbs and flows. But because I talked to him a little bit, and the last time we were chatting, it was just like he seems really happy, like in this... that he's got all that stuff in the rearview mirror, and now he just gets to do stand-up and do what he loves to do. So
he's genuinely super fucking funny. What was my point about the movie things? Oh, okay, so Don't Fuck with Cats is fucked up. It's like it's about a guy. Sorry, spoilers. He fucking vacuums out the air of a thing you're supposed to put sweaters in, except there's kittens in there, and kills them, and he like shows it off on the internet, and then he eventually goes up and chops up an Asian guy.
Psychos.
This is pre-coronavirus. I guess it's probably okay, but no.
Well, cats might have something too. You never know. You never know what cats are bringing into the house.
That's true. Usually like dead birds as present, like blah.
Yeah. Imagine a cat like, I got you dead bird. You don't like it. You don't like it, do you?
You don't like it? I can bring you back a cardinal.
I'll get you a lizard.
You want a blue jay? You want a fucking sparrow? That, I feel like that hit a tone for me, because I remember I watched it with my boyfriend. I think it was on like Valentine's Day or the day after, and then he like tried to hook up with me after, and I was like, no, I'm fucking out of it. Like I'm like really sad. I feel like I want to cry after watching this movie. Like, just I know it's bad that like animals being tortured and killed like hurts my feelings more than like people getting chopped up.
No, I totally understand it.
But like animals are like just the most precious little like
animals are the best.
Yeah, they really are the best.
Yeah, I'm the stepfather of a dog, and I love that dog more than most humans that I've ever come into contact with. She's just so sweet.
Part of your new special that you put out, right?
That's the title, yeah.
I swear to God, like I dated this guy who like I just hung in there because I really liked his dog. I met him in New York City. He was like going to school at Columbia.
It's a great way to describe it. I just hung in there.
Fucking loved his dog. He had a mini schnauzer named Charlie, and like we bonded. Like I feel like we got each other, and I would just be like, oh, I can't wait till we're alone. You know, no, not in a sick, gross way.
Can't wait until I kill your dad.
Just like, I mean, he ended up like breaking up with me over Skype.
Over Skype.
Over Skype, it was
That's better than a phone call? It's better than text.
I mean, he had been in person, like face to face with me, like that whole weekend, and then like went back home, and then
he went into the other room to Skype.
yeah. He like went back.
I'm in the bathroom, and it's not working out. So
yeah, I'm actually waiting for my Uber. No, he went back to DC, and then like Skyped me the next day, and then broke up with me. I was like, what the fuck? You could have done this like face to face. But then I think karma got him because then he got hit by a bus a couple years ago. He lived. He's fine. I mean, like he just was on his bike. And then
that is so... Because when you said karma got to him, I was literally about to make the joke, would he get hit by a bus?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be insensitive in case he actually did. He got hit by a bus.
That is what happens. If you break up with me in a poor way, it's like something bad will probably happen.
If I can take it a step further, if he did meet his end with that bus, who gets Charlie? Would you throw your hat in the ring?
He now has a fiance. I think they're married, actually.
Ah, okay.
So that was like,
she probably gets first dibs on Charlie.
But it's really sad. Like, and I'm still Facebook friends with him. Not that I like check up on him really, but like, but I saw like just I think it was last week that like Charlie died.
Aww.
And I was like, oh my God,
Poor Chuck.
That's the whole reason why we made it 2.5 years. It was like. Charlie was like a big part of that.
Yeah, me and my ex, we made it 2.5 years. I don't want to give the dog credit for like extending the relationship unnecessarily, but I think a lot of times if we did get into an argument, Molly was like the reason why we would be able to put our differences aside and find a resolution and move forward, because at the end of the day, we both just love this beast so much.
What kind of dog is it?
She's half Beagle, half Boston Terrier.
Terrigal? What's like the
That's a great
word for that?
I don't know if there actually is, but as being the dog owner that I am going to show you a picture of her while we're actually on air, because that's great podcasting.
I wonder if Molly's like, come on, you two just put aside your differences and just you can come together on petting me. Oh,
that's her.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely see.
That's her and her Yoda toy.
Her face is like not Beagle.
Her eyes are very Boston Terrier-y, and then she's got the Beagle ears.
Ears for sure.
Yeah, and she's about 25 pounds, and she's a sweetheart. And what a lot of people tell me is that they say like dog owners, and I always feel a little bad about this because they're like dog owners start to look like their dog, and so people always say that your dog looks exactly like you, and I want to be like, well, it's actually her mom is the dog owner, and I just kind of came to the relationship, but I think we found a nice place where we're still very good friends, and I get to consider myself the co-parent.
Wow. How often do you get to visit the dog? Every other weekend?
My visitation rights, I see the dog a lot. Okay. And her mom's been working on a Netflix show for the last, 10 weeks. And so Molly's been hanging out with me a lot. Like Molly can like stay at my place sometimes, stay at her place. And so, but yeah, like during the day, I get to see the bulk of Molly just because her mom's so busy. So that's success. That's the price of fame.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with your dog more.
Aww. Isn't it weird? Someone tells you look like your dog looks like you. It's like nobody really wants to look like a dog, I don't think.
I mean, I have like these big like puppy dog eyes, so I think that just informs my whole face that I kind of look like a sad kind of dog, just like Molly. I do look like her.
I ate a dog biscuit once when I was little. We would keep them for the neighbor dog.
They always look good. I never actually indulged.
The little milk bones. They're very dry. Actually, I had a dog treat fairly recently also because I got these ones. I think they were like really expensive and it said like real bacon flavor. And then I was like, do these even have real? So I tried one and I was like, I can't give this to because my boyfriend's mom has a dog. It's like weird. It's like really the same thing. Like it's not actually my dog, but I love Muffin so much. We have the same hair color. Like, I love her so much. I was there the day they brought her home, and I was like, look at you, you're like a little muffin. And I swear it like stuck. Like,
that was the name.
I'm not gonna take credit for naming her because I think I think like I don't know. I mean, it wasn't my place to like name the dog, but I just was like, she looked like a muffin. And then that's like what they ended up calling her.
At least you're being fun about it, not being like a vindictive comic. Like, oh, they stole my name. They stole Muffin was mine.
No way.
That was my bit.
There's so many bigger things to get mad about. But I get sad. Like my soul hurts if I go like more than a few weeks without seeing her.
Yeah.
It's like not even my dog.
Yeah, at this point I need to see Molly a whole lot. Like I miss her when I go on the road and stuff like that. And the worst is because sometimes if both of us are busy for a weekend, we'll just take her to her doggy hotel, which she loves being at, but she gets nervous going to the hotel. That's the hardest day. Is when you drop her off and she knows that she's not going to see you for a little bit and she's kind of whining a little bit and you're like, just go, I can't handle it.
Don't look at me, I'm hideous.
Yeah.
Does she like whimper and like make sad?
A little bit, yeah.
Noises?
But then, 2 or 3 days later, whenever you pick her up, she's just got out of the bath and they give her a bath and she comes out and she is so happy.
Fluffy and clean.
Oh, she's so happy to see me. It's a good feeling, yeah.
Do you think that dogs think when you're away that you've died or you're never coming back? Like, are there memories? I've heard that their memories are such that like they just think that they'll never see you again. And
and then when they do, they're so happy.
Like, oh my God, you're back. You didn't forget about me.
Yeah, they're so loyal that they don't really, it doesn't really click in their head that you may be a crappy dog owner, that you're not seeing them as much, because every time they get to hang out with you, they're just happy to be there.
Oh my God.
That's my read on it.
Yeah. Poor doggy.
That's my dog expert.
Yeah. I want a dog. I want a dog so bad.
I can't do it. I can't get like my own dog that's just mine. Just because I'm on the road too much, and it's just it's a lot. It's a lot of effort.
It is
They're
a
handfuls.
lot. It's weird. There's a dog park like pretty close to. I walked past it like a couple of times. I'm like, would it be weird if I just like went in? Yeah. If I just like went in and like.
I just want to be around the dog.
I just want to like I just sort of like let my hand graze one, like just pet one, be like, oh, I guess he likes me, and then but I would be called out. They'd be like, which one's yours? And I'd be like, I have to go.
It's like that scene in Ace Ventura where you just get in the middle of the dog park, you kneel, and all the dogs come running to you, and you're the queen of the dogs.
Yeah, why is that? When like you lay down, like you always see those videos, or like maybe I seek them out, where people are like laying down, and then there's just puppies all over your face, and they just like, what is it about? Like they just have to like lick every hole in your face. They're
just curious. Us humans, we have smells. They want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, they're like, and that the socks too. Like Muffin always will like, she'll like put a sock in her mouth and she'll like look at you like, you probably want this back, because she knows like socks equal attention.
Right.
But it's also like, I guess she's like a foot fetish dog. I don't know. She's just like
it's
smell
like a
it.
Tarantino dog. That Muffin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, I know it's interesting, like coming to LA and like learning about different things. Like, so there's like the Standard Hotel like down the road, and somebody was telling me that like lots of fucked up stuff like happens there.
Oh yeah.
That like there's maybe like, and I could probably edit this part out, but like I don't know, like possibly people drinking blood, like fucking literally anything goes.
There's some
over there.
weird stuff that I've seen at the Standard, just because it's, well, first of all, from my yokel background, I'm just like, it's a hotel. That's where you go to stay. That's a lodge. That's you go there, you stay there, then you take care of whatever business you have in town, and then you check out and you go. You walk into the Standard, and yes, they have hotel rooms there. It's also like this weird nightclub that gets really trendy and odd and just different.
Somebody said it was like Eyes Wide Shut kind of.
Like, yeah, when you walk in, especially at night, they like the check-in desk. Behind the check-in desk, there's these giant glass cases that they used to have with like dancers in the cases.
Yeah, somebody told me that there was like a girl in a fish tank.
Yeah.
Like just
at the hotel.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of nightclub kids and then one incredibly lost business traveler. Like, I don't know what this is normal.
What's the Wi-Fi password?
I did get offered cocaine at the Standard one time.
Ooh.
I've never done any of the drugs. I'll do an edible here and there to fall asleep, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So, but and this is what a neophyte I was at the time. Like, I didn't understand even drug culture, the lingo. So I'm in this hotel room, this like fancy hotel room with a bunch of rich, famous people, and this guy, he's like, "Hey, we're gonna go party in the bathroom. You want to go?" And in my head, I'm
bathroom.
Like, what kind of party's in a bathroom? Is there a petting zoo in there?
Why don't we go to a full-size room? Like we're not gonna be able to fit many snacks in there. And you
see with cokeheads, you see the turn. They're so nice when they're offering it to you, and then when you refuse it, they're like, "What the fuck? Come on!"
But why would they get
mad? What are you, a narc?
Like, cocaine costs money, so isn't it like more for them?
Yeah, it's more for your nose.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just don't. Yeah, it's not for me.
I would be afraid to like become dependent on it. Like, I have an Adderall prescription, but like I haven't taken it, and I can't remember when. I just like I store them up, and then like I give them to friends who have to write writing packets or something, or I just like, trick or treat. I don't know. I don't know if that makes me a drug person or not. I don't think so.
We just discovered you're a drug dealer doing the podcast. Like, wow, Chrissy, I sell coke to friends. I don't do it.
Person. Do I sell them? I mean, sure, I'll accept. Who doesn't turn down money? I mean,
you just trust your friends. The worst that I ever did, I had a hernia operation in 2013, and so they gave me, I think, Oxy for it because it's very painful the first few weeks.
Your hernia that's in your, what is that?
Right here. Oh, there's like a little tiny scar right here. And it's basically like there's like a fat deposit that like gets on the outside of the muscle, and so they have to Game of Thrones it and just sew it back in. And they do that, and then it's a very simple procedure. It's like you go in the morning, they numb you up, they do the thing, you're out, but then it starts to really hurt when the meds wear off. So then you have Oxy for the pain, and I saved them because they put me to sleep right away, and it was like good sleep.
Wow.
And I saved them, and I'm like, I'm only taking these if this pain is so intense that Advil's not doing the work. And so I ended up having like 5 left that I didn't actually use during the course of my hernia. So I take those on the road with me for the next couple months. And like if I just really wanted a good night's sleep, I pop an Oxy.
That seems fun.
And that was the end of my relationship with OxyContin.
Oh, okay.
And right before I went to sleep, I heard scratching at the door.
And it was outside. It was your pharmacist going, "Do you want more?"
It was my pharmacist with the hook hand. Had come to reclaim the Oxy.
Hooks are great because you can just scoop the pills like much easier with just the hook.
Hooks are great for doing drugs, as it turns out. You can just chop up the coke.
Sniff it right off the hook. Yeah, like chop up a mushroom. I don't know that much about drugs.
It really does tell you how like far comics have fallen in how cool we used to be versus how cool we are now, because comics back in the day, up all night doing blow for 3 days at a time,
hanging
drinking.
On the railings, fucking,
Now we're doing one
things.
Oxy and going to bed.
Now we're like, a lot of us have given up all substances, a lot of,
And now we're having acai bowls.
Yeah.
What's wrong with us?
People going to AA meetings, moisturizing.
We're healthy. For you, the audience.
Yeah.
We're here to tell jokes.
Do you get recognized a lot, like, for your voice?
People. It's funny. I was at Coffee Bean in Hollywood. Like, this is a couple weeks ago, and somebody heard me talking. I was talking to like a friend of mine who I was with, and the guy in front of me, this big dude, turns around, sees me, and he's like, "I did not expect that voice to be coming out of your body."
Absolutely,
like, happened to laugh about it.
Your voice is mismatched with your whole face.
If I ever became a radio DJ, it'd be like...
How are you not already a radio DJ?
I get to work a lot on the radio, and I have a lot of cool opportunities, but I feel like if people knew me from just my voice, then they met me in person, they'd be like, "Where's the rest of you?" Like, this is, you're only 5'10".
Where's your radio body?
Come on. I don't know when this happened, because I remember having like a higher voice when I was a kid, and then something happened at some point. But I really went through a bad period with the voice cracks that a lot of dudes, like when you go through puberty, you just can't, and your voice just keeps cracking. It was tough.
Maybe because you were going through special radio puberty, and your body was preparing you for a career.
That's right. And physically, the rest of it never caught up. But
you're squeaking, but you're also like rattling off like random radio stations. Like, this is WFAN. What? Where did that come from?
Maybe we should do a thing. I don't think I'm so super well known that people just recognize this voice. We should do a thing where like I do some radio show, and we just have fans from that try to like draw a picture of what they think I look like.
Absolutely.
Or compare me to a celebrity they think I look like, and then wait for them to be disappointed.
That would be great. Or you could like record your voice on like, so I have this Calm app, and I was like, sure, I have sometimes trouble falling asleep.
Do you like it? I downloaded it, but I haven't used it yet.
It's basically like, I think I paid $70 I can have lake sounds whenever I want. I just like open it and I can listen to chirping, and I'm just like, wow, I'm so relaxed. But some of them are like, you can pick it's like called bedtime stories, and like different people read you.
Oh, I heard.
One of them was Matthew McConaughey reads you a bedtime story, and I listened to it. It was so fucking funny. It was like, all right, get in your bed. It's time for your story. I can't do his voice, but
I gotta try. I want to try one of those.
Yeah.
What if I could read myself to sleep?
Do it.
How narcissistic you have to be to play your own voice to go to sleep.
I have to listen to one of your own sets or something. I can't stand listening to my fucking voice. I'll listen back to this and I'll be like, ugh.
I think we all have a little bit of that as comics, because it's, as we both know, I'm sure you crushed last night when you headlined a theater in Hollywood, and I'm sure you had a monumentally great set, and it's going to be impossible for you to actually sit down and watch it. That's going to be the most stressful part about it.
Yeah.
See, you're already thinking about it. When I got the first cut of my special, I was in Vegas. I was working the whole week at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club, and I get in on a Monday. And on that Monday, my director had sent me the first cut of the special. I didn't open it till Thursday. It took me 3 days to just be like, all right, just suck it up, see how it looks. We'll be able to get over it. And then when you start watching it, you're okay.
You must have felt that when you were done, recording it, you're like, yeah, that felt good. That felt like... I
was just done. I was drained. Yeah, because there were so many issues with the venue, and there was a band playing next door that we had to delay the start of the second show for an hour and a half, and it was just so much stress that I knew that I knew that it was gonna look good, but the audio I was really worried about, and then they ended up doing. I mean, it looked great and it sounded great, so I was really thrilled with how it came out. But it was a lot of behind the scenes stress, to where it wasn't that celebratory top of the world feeling that I thought it would be, because I thought it'd be we just won a championship and confetti raining down,
champagne all over you, and
it's just you just sitting back in your hotel room watching Masters golf highlights at 3:30 a.m. with a cold deep dish pizza. All right, I guess this is what success is.
This is my life now.
This is why I should start doing drugs.
Then drugs. Yeah, drugs sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Wow, this was great. This was a wonderful podcast, Mark.
Well, look, let me know if you want me to record a bedtime story and send it to you.
That would be great.
If you think this voice will do the trick.
Yeah, a good night moon, or
I think my voice is a little too sarcastic, because it kind of sounds like I'm making fun of you as I'm going as you're trying to go to bed. You're like, wait, is he judging me?
You're like, are you up because you are uncomfortable? Are you not at peace in your life? Have you made some bad decisions?
Good night, loser.
Good night, loser. Instead of good night, moon. Good night, tool.
Good night, you tool belt.
Good night. I think I want to have a bedtime story.
I'll record something for you.
Okay.
I'll send it your way. You can put me up against McConaughey. I think I can take him down.
Awesome. Mark, where can people find you, check out your latest projects, etc.?
You can definitely go on YouTube and go down a rabbit hole with my special is called Dog Stepfather, and Christian Harloff and I, we built Schmoes for 10 years now, and then we started the movie Trivia Schmodown a couple years ago, and that's really gotten big. So if you like movie trivia, it's like that. It's with a sports angle. There's a wrestling flair to it. So if you're a movie fan at all, I think you'll really enjoy the movie Trivia Schmodown. It's SCHMOE is Schmo, down, DOW. So check it out.
Yeah, next time you're in New York, oh fuck, let me know and I'll get you on my show, The Wet Spot, which is this fun, fluffy panel show.
Love to. Yeah, I think I'm back in New York this summer. So if you want to hop on one of my shows too, this is how friendships are forged in hotel rooms in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard.
Talking about dogs. All right, Mark Ellis, everybody.